What's going on, baby? We're a little late, but hey, but we here. For thank you guys for joining us at Chaos Culture Radio. We really appreciate you guys. So, hey, before y'all get to us, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you hit the notification bell on the bottom because we do go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Now, unfortunately, Ronnie's not here, but we have a special guest for you guys. We have the beautiful, lovely chocolate Earth for you guys, and
Hello.
and we are very grateful to come up to the podcast. So, how are you doing today?
I woke up, I'm blessed, and I'm ready to take on the world. So, and I'm happy to be here and thank you for having me. And I hope that your audience and you guys can feel the energy I'm trying to give and that we can have a good time today. So I'm all for it.
And I feel it all the way here in LA. And Hakeem, he feels all the way up in Miami. We are blessed to have your presence with us. How you feeling,
Thank you.
Hakeem?
I'm blessed and I'm highly favored.
There you go. There
Hallelujah.
you go. There you
Yes,
go.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I see everybody's coming to check. Sherry Bryant, we
Every
see you. We
Brian,
see you. Hello,
just hear me
family.
out.
Just hear me out. Ash A, we appreciate you. Appreciate you coming by. So hey, let's get to the topic, y'all. So today's topic has been very trending. On social media. Instagram and also Twitter. That's now it's X now. And now this is about the former NFL player Michael Orr. In case you don't know about Michael Orr, he used to play for the Baltimore Ravens. He was an offensive lineman,
Hmm.
Super Bowl champion, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens back in 2012 when they beat the San Francisco 49ers. And also, you kind of know Michael. You guys know about Michael Orr because there was a movie that he portrayed called The Blind Side that came out, I believe, in 2009 or 2007. And then it was basically supposed to be a true story about his upbringing and everything, how he got adopted to a white family, how they kind of helped him pursue football in high school and to college,
Hmm.
and he
Hmm.
went to college to Ole Miss, and then also got he was a top new first round draft pick and also in the NFL draft as well, and he had a really good NFL career. Now stories not telling us now that the family that they thought that he got adopted on. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Unfortunately, it was conservatorship that
Mm.
he was in, that he signed, that the family lied to him. So
Wow.
I'm gonna read you guys a little bit about it, and after that we're gonna play a couple of videos that we're gonna show you guys, and then
Hmm.
after that we're gonna chop it up. So the former NFL player Michael Orr, he filed a petition in the Tennessee court on August 14th over allegations that Sean and Leon told I don't I can't I'm sorry I can't pronounce their last name.
Yeah.
They fabricated the story to make themselves rich, and this is according to ESPN. The petition alleged that they never adopted Orr in the first place. In actuality, the petition says the couple tricked Orr into signing a conservatorship less than 3 months after he turned 18, giving them the authority to make business deal in his name. The rights to the $300 million gross from the film The Blind Side, for example, earned the Tohys. Sorry, I can't pronounce the name. And
I
their
don't even
two
know how to pronounce
biological,
it either.
I can't either. And their two biological kids, $225,000 each, plus millions in royalties, but left
Oh,
or
wow.
with yeah without left Michael Orr without a penny, nothing. Others signed a separation contract to give away his life rights to 20th Century Fox Studios, his payments was,
Mm.
however, pre-document reviewed by ESPN. He claims he was not aware of the implication of the documents. So this story came out today,
Wow.
and it's really crazy. So he did not earn a dime. You win a conservatorship, you don't get anything. So we're gonna
Yeah.
play so we're gonna play a couple of videos for you guys that it's kind of explain a little bit more details about it, and after that we're gonna chop it up. Go ahead, Hakeem. What's going on, Nidus? Good to see you, Nidus.
Part of this book also, very quickly, you also want to kind of clear the air about who Michael Orr really is, as opposed to maybe how he was kind of portrayed in the movie The Blind Side, right?
That's a big. I didn't necessarily put any wrongs and rights in there, but in order for me to reach the potential and show the young ones behind me the journey that I had to go on. You know, people watching the movie, people don't understand that I was an All-American before I moved in, football All-American before I moved in with the Tuohy family. I was 18 years old, a couple weeks going into my senior year of high school when I moved in. So that's why I want to get these young people to understand that, and when they see who Michael Oher is, because it's still inspiring, it's still motivating, but I had so much more to story to give, and it took away that right there, and have young people to see it and say, hey, well, you made it because you got saved by someone, and that was never the case. And that's the motivation that I want to give and to continue to show.
Yeah, you're definitely doing that, Michael Oher. We are very
Leanne Tuohy, Michael Oher story is pretty shocking. Michael Oher has sued Sean and Leanne Tuohy.
For what?
In a 14-page petition that was filed in Shelby County, Tennessee probate court, he says that Sean and Leanne Tuohy did not adopt him. Instead, less than 3 months after Oher turned 18 back in 2004, the couple tricked him into signing a document making them his conservators, which gave them legal authority to make business deals in his name. The petition alleges that the Tuohys used their power to strike the deal that paid them and their 2 birth children millions of dollars in royalties from the Oscar-winning film that earned more than $300 million, while Oher got nothing for a story that would not have existed without him. Wow. The document reads, the lie of Michael's adoption is one upon which co-conservators Leanne Tuohy and Sean Tuohy have enriched themselves at the expense of their ward, the undersigned Michael Oher.
Yeah, this is a crazy story of and how a man who who thought he was got adopted and realized they was just using him for money. He's used his NFL talents, but he was really good offensive line in the NFL, and just taking money away from him and without him knowing. And so I'm gonna pass it to you guys. I'm gonna start with you, Hakeem. So what's your take with this Michael Oher story of him being in a conservatorship?
The first question I would ask, where was his mother and father? That's the first question.
His father, we don't know about his father. His mother, I think, if I'm not sure, I think she was on drugs. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yes, she was I know she was an addict, and he was on the streets. He was home. She put him out.
So then, when I look at this and I say that, okay, you lived with these people, and for quite some time, I'm wondering where the community was at. Why nobody helped him, looked over the contract? Who was around him? Where was your uncle, your aunties, and this and that? There's more family than just your mama. So when I look at this, and now you of age, and the Blind Side been what? 20 years? What? How many years?
2009, I think it came out.
Oh man, that was
about almost 15 years ago.
Right, it does seem like forever ago. Ooh.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I feel sad about this. That this happens, but this is not uncommon. That our brothers and sisters who fall through the cracks, and some people who see potential in them are able to capitalize on them. And then be able to get that, and this is why it takes a village to raise them, and I don't, that's my point on that.
Shout out to Sugar Bum. So hey, Chocolate, Sugar Bum say hello to you. She's happy to see you.
Hello, Sugar Bum. Just Jay, everybody. Hello, hi, night is
Sugar Bum is my thumbnail.
So go ahead, Chocolate Earth. What's your take on it?
Exactly what we were discussing before the show went live. That young man should have been able to call a number that got him in touch with Black folks who would have looked out for him. We talk about having mentors. We talk about, young men need to be protected. However, there's no hub for anybody, black, from elderly to a baby, that can get help from people that know why you're going through what you're going through. And then we talk about other communities and go, well, we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing. And this is how these particular things happen. It's not the first time I've heard of, um, white folks taking in black children and abusing or using them. I do know that a lot of that went on in New York throughout the 90s, where little girls and boys were being trafficked into like places like New York and, like you said, Miami,
Yep.
to be slaves. So either this is going to continue to happen, or we're going to have to stop like turning a blind eye and being like, oh, well, that's an individual thing. That's not true. That's not true, because if someone hadn't created the NFL, right? That's a human being. It's not like the NFL is a person walking around, that's a group, a collective of people with money who decided football and the way to do it and how to make money. And it gave young black men an out. We don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. We don't have anything like that. And that is where, when you were saying, Hakeem, about it takes a village, it is going to have to be a village. The village can be there. And my heart goes out to this young man, because he was alone. So who was in his corner? And that's what happens to a lot of black children in our community. Yes, there are good people, bad people, all that. We already know that. However, constantly we are hearing how young black men are being put in positions of, how's the word I want to put it? We say we want to protect them and save them, but yet and still we'll let them fall. It doesn't make sense anymore. So yeah, I mean, of course and that was a great question. Somebody said, why didn't this blow up years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Because who's in charge? If I'm trying to keep my scam quiet, I'm not telling nobody. And all of they looking at is, well, at least we giving him this, this, and this. He had a nice place to live. He went to a nice school. We did these things for it. But there's no real connection.
Yep.
Right? And so I find it interesting in all of the stories that I have heard, this one being the newest one. However, it again shows that we are not tight as a community. We're not. So yeah, he got played, and that shouldn't have never happened. And I blame the NFL, I blame the family, I blame the foster people or the adoption agency. How can you let this boy, so were they his foster parents all that time? Like, it doesn't make sense. And it's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me on this topic, and this is what's going on, especially in our black community, and they really don't teach this in schools, and that's financial literacy. And a lot of black men have a problem, when they go to colleges or going in the NFL. So, I would say maybe 80%. I'll go 80, 85%, especially going to colleges. Now in colleges, they're paying, these top 5 recruits and 4 recruits money now and everything. But I will say this with our black men, who are, either they're quarterbacks, wide receivers, defensive ends, any position they play around the NFL. I feel like, they really don't teach financial literacy in schools, starting in high school. And with Michael Orr, he was one of the cases which, he thought, the family telling him, hey, you have the talent to not just make it to the college, which Ole Miss, you have like a great chance to make it to the NFL. And to me, they just stick to and say, hey, I'm putting it as an NFL, it's your dream. You can make tons of money and everything. And also just to see is how, the family, used that and also made a movie of him about it, which he says in the first movie that he says, that's not really me. I wasn't a shy person and everything. I did work hard, when I was in high school and in Ole Miss. I was the first person in there to practice, and I was the last one to leave there, to work on my craft, to be the greatest offensive player that you can be. and just to see a family, just to use them, just to make almost $225 million to his biological kids while he gets a penny. That just tells you right there, hey, we need to teach our black kids, who are who's trying to play, who has good talent, who's in, sports and basketball, football, baseball,
Right.
boxing, track, any sports, that they're good at, and really teach them financial literacy, and financial literacy is very, very important, because once you have a talent like that, like Michael Orr, he should be getting some type of money that way. He could go back to his his community. He can build when he needs to build to help younger black kids. How teach them financial literacy. Teach them how if you want to go to college, especially if you playing different sports, and especially if you're top 5 recruits, how boosters that pay you this money, but you don't know what you don't know you don't know what to do with it. You think you might spend it on cars, or family might ask you so much types of money, and you don't have the limit to how much money you give to your families. And a lot of, I tell you this, a player, Allen Iverson. Y'all know Allen Iverson, who played for the Philadelphia Sixers, NBA Hall of Famer.
Right.
There was a time after he retired, back, I think it was in 2012 or 2013. I read this one yesterday on somebody's podcast, that he made almost 54 million dollars in the NBA, and in 2012 he had no money to pay for a cheeseburger. Zero.
Well, see, again, it goes back to having a community. Like you said, if we owned our own schools, there are 500, I think,
Mm-hmm.
no, 309. 309 schools across the country that are black owned. That's not enough. And I think the majority of them are like preschool and, little kids like that. But as far as high schools, and we don't even have, yes, I understand we have HBCUs, but they're falling apart.
We could talk about it.
X.
We have
Nobody.
these.
Mhm.
Go ahead. If you
No,
need
no,
to,
no. I know. I was just coming.
yeah,
Nobody donate.
listen,
None of the
no.
graduates donate. Go.
Mm-mm. Well, because again, if you're getting subpar education, the way things are setting up, now people are telling, because black people don't tell our business. And I think the internet has kind of opened everybody's eyes like, oh, well, it ain't just me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would think, okay, it ain't just me. So no. However, I'm going to add in what Sugar Bum said in the chat. This is what I mean by community. If we had a community, we could have helped his mama get off drugs. If we had housing, we could have put her somewhere and allowed her to thrive. If anybody thinks I'm just talking out my side, check out Finland, the country of Finland. They have almost eradicated homelessness in their country.
Mm-hmm. And Singapore.
What they do is they have transitional housing. It is free. They help them with health, the whole nine. The state covers all of it. And then they can become a viable citizen. And that's what's happening to us. We can't wait on the millionaires and billionaires of black folks. Because let me tell you something. They holding on to their money because they know they still black, honey. They know. So it's like we have been taught so many negative things about where money is concerned, right? We have talked so badly about, oh, money's the root of. No, it's the human being. The value of the money is given by the human being. That's it. Everything we got, everything we do, the clothes we wear, it was all created by different humans. So if that's the case, and we have the mental capacity to do all these things, then why can't we create a village, create communities across this country and help the people who we know need the help and will work hard? There are plenty of hardworking black folks out here every day, going to work, going to jobs that some of us don't want to do. So it comes down to that simplicity of treating each other like human beings. If I see that you're hungry, I'm going to feed you. If I see that you don't have anywhere to stay, I'm going to house you. Now, I know the argument is, you can't do that for everybody. Stop. That's the get out card. That's the let me make it extreme. I live in a place where we have tent cities all over the cities, like tent cities all over the different cities. So
What
like the
state
way
you live in?
I'm in Arizona.
Okay.
Right now I'm in the East Valley. So I'm seeing people under bridges. I'm seeing people in tents, and it is 100 and something degrees here. It is for me a issue of I don't care about doing the work, but if you don't want me to do it alone, then I need the help, right? It has to happen. We keep talking about our kids. However, kids don't vote. Kids can't work yet. And they're trying to get our kids to work. They're trying to lower the age of working across the country so they can hire our children. Who else they gonna hire? And so these are the things this business practice doesn't have to be because we can choose to change the dynamic. And that's why I'm so passionate about it because I know it can be different. And like I said, people like him, his mother, the people who live in this housing that they don't do anything about, it's dilapidated. They're not taking Section 8 anymore. There's a lot going on in our community. However, if we can simplify it. Food, housing, security. That's where you start. Because if I can feed my family and I'm not worried about paying my rent, hey, now I can pay attention to what's happening outside. Now I can come to a rally. Now I can go vote. Now I can care about my local area. Now I can be a part of the PTA. These things are necessary and people are drowning in debt. And so when I look at it as a totality, and it seems like such a huge problem, but it really isn't. It really isn't. So it's like, that's why I promote it. I'm going to still promote it. It doesn't matter to me. Community is necessary. And what I mean by that is that I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. I apologize. But
No, you
not to
can read
go
it.
on, I'm going to land. So Sugar Bum said, she told me they call the street people because they're only homeless because they want to do drugs. Yeah, I've heard that. But I've also met people who are homeless. I've talked to them. I don't have a problem with that because, again, I know what it's like to be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like trying to get the social services that are not here, nowhere, really. And once the government drops the ball, they're not worried about it anymore. They don't think we're going to do anything, so they're not going to change. So it's up to us. It's like being in a bad relationship. They're not going to change. So you can continue to stay with them? No, we'll tell people in a minute. No, you need to leave them, go find you someone else, or love yourself and da 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 da. Well, same thing applies to the community. We have to look at them as human beings so we can make changes. And we start out with feeding folk, we start out with housing people, helping them with their health care. These type of things will make such an impact so quickly because we have the technology. Now, I ain't gonna keep rambling. Y'all got it. Because I'm gonna tell you something.
With Chuck, like you're 100% right because if we keep doing this, you won't see situations like Michael Oher is going to right now as he,
Mhm.
he lost the hundreds of $1 millions that he needs to be earned. You know,
Right.
if we can teach, how to build communities, teach our, people that's in entertainment, who's talented in entertainment, sports, whatever, if we teach these stuff, and build, just can build our communities and also teach our add with financial literacy, we can
Mhm.
see a bigger gap, in the wealth that we have in our Black community. And it's very,
Thank you.
very
Yes.
important.
It's
It's very,
huge.
it's
That
huge.
gap is crazy. It's like the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
right? Like you can swim in it. And like to your point, we public schools was not created for our children to be educated in. We weren't even allowed to go to school. We're still living in the same country where they would take your life if you knew how to read. These are the same people, they just gotten older. We keep talking about 60 years ago, right? Or the years of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Guess what? Those people are still existing. Their children are existing. The same folks that was hosing people down, the same people that poison the water in Flint, the same people who will do this without regard, and they do not care. They don't care at all. There's an article by McKinsey, it was a study done. This was last year. And they said corporations in this country leave $300 billion on the table every year because they don't cater to us at all. And they don't care. You know you making enough money when $300 billion ain't nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if we redirected that money, what it would do for the communities, what it could do to rehab homes, what it could do for the elderly by providing the products and the different things that our money goes to every day. We don't have a Walmart. We don't have a chain of restaurants. We don't have a chain of hospitals. When what's his name, Zuckerberg got his money, he built a brand new hospital for his community. The money's there. It's there.
You're 100% dead on, and I want to speak on it from that perspective. You know, the thing is, like, as I, you know what I mean, and I don't know if I speak, you know, my parents are from a third world country.
Okay.
So, but I grew up around Black Americans my whole life. But as I grew up in the 80s, and as I grow here, I noticed a change that we removed the community aspect that we used to have, and now we practice self-preservation.
Right.
Everything is on an individualism type thing. Now, most of us say it's easier for us to just mind our own business. That's what they put on TikTok and everything.
Yes.
Hey,
yes,
mind your
honey.
own business.
Mind your business. And but look what it's got us.
Basically. But then you know what I mean? But then I say the Jews don't mind their own business. You can't talk bad about no Jew but without them striking down. They build hospitals, they build schools, they do all this. We don't look at ourselves like that because we don't unite on a single front. And this is why we're so fragmented on things. You know what I mean? Black Americans don't like Haitians don't like Jamaicans don't like Africans. And when we all need you see what I'm saying? When we all need each other in one setting.
Right.
Just because I don't know you, Chocolate Earth, doesn't mean I can't look at you as my sister. Or if I don't know somebody's kids, I can't look at them as my son. And I should intervene. But a lot of people, we don't look at that. And now nobody intervened in Michael Oher's story, but some white folks.
Right.
I want everybody
because we minding our business.
Minding our business. And that's something I want to get, and that's something I want to put this. There's a lot of stuff we have to take ownership on. Because let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The organizations that are out here to take care of young men here, Boy Scouts, and all of these things, they've all been built by people who wanted to serve their community. And here's the thing, a lot of those people from the community, firefighters, doctors, lawyers, they all volunteer. My nephew was in the Big Brother program.
Okay.
You know, when I went to go check that out, it was a white boy that came to be his big brother.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I didn't hate on it.
No, but it's a little disappointing. Yeah.
But here we go with the point. Now, when I asked the person who was ahead of the program, because I was curious, this was in Massachusetts, by the way. He said, where there's a lot of well-to-do Black men there. He said they can't get them guys in there if it was half off. Nobody. No, they tried to get Black men to come in and volunteer. Nobody would come. Rarely we see. Listen, my niece had a big sister. Her big sister was a Mexican lady. So I said, this should already get the where we going. Now, mind you, it's a little different in certain areas. I don't know where Michael Oher was from. Now, if there was a Black kid and they went to a Black school, there probably was a coach or something would have been like, let me put my hands on him a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the point. I think we don't want to take no more hands-on approach because we
He's
don't
from.
need
Hey,
the rest.
just let you know, he's from Memphis. He's
You
from
see,
Tennessee, Memphis. Yeah.
as
Oh, okay.
as black as that city is, ain't there was
Yeah.
no nigga that'll put his hands
but
on it?
but it's very
Exactly.
poor. But it's very poor. Tennessee sits among the one of the poorest states, along with Kentucky, Ohio, all of that little section, Arkansas. All these places have a lot of black people, but it's poor.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you was talking about in southern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia.
Yeah,
You
Little
got
Rock,
folks, you got folks still living in shacks.
Jacks. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, for me, I have been asked this question, why do I care? Right? And I said, you know why? Because someone cared about me. I've had several mentors in my life who have guided me along the way,
Mm.
of uh different sexes, men and women, older, younger, and I have learned from every interaction I have had with human beings, right? I used to be a facilitator for Macy's. So I
Mm.
used to teach classes back to back to back, right? Thousands of people, hundreds, let's say hundreds and close to thousands of people that I had to learn their names, figure out how they learn, the whole nine. But I'm thankful that I was able to do it because it gives me a perspective of looking at small to the large picture. And the large picture is crying, and it's crying out and saying, okay, enough is enough. We're going to have to do something. And if you guys don't mind, it was another comment I wanted to address.
Yeah,
The
go
young
right
lady
ahead.
said, I don't remember her name, but she did say, she said, we'll build something and black folks will tear it down. Here it is.
Oh, that
Sherry.
was Sherry Roberts. Yeah, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry. I want to kind of go with that question, the thing you said. You are absolutely correct
Mm-hmm.
that there are a sector of black folks that don't give two rocks about what we doing, right? Those are not the people we trying to help.
Praise the Lord.
The
Hallelujah.
reason the reason I want to clarify, I think sometimes when we talk about philanthropy, we talk about community, we talk about changes. Let's be 100% honest. We only going to help those who want the help. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be able to provide real tangible help. Not I'm going to help you, but let me send you to 5 of these different places to tell you no, then come back. The social system in our country is horrifying. Yes, some people get more food stamps than others. Some people might get better medical or whatever. That's fine. However, when it comes down to it, though, when it comes down to black folks in this circle, we are looked at as negative because of we have to go to affordable housing, or we have to get EBT, or we have to do these particular things. If our country took care of its people, we wouldn't have to do any of this.
Mm-hmm.
So since that's not going to happen, we can't wait. And those who want to come in and try to infiltrate and listen, I don't have a problem putting some Vaseline on, honey. If I'm here to fight for mine, not only just my family, but for the other families, the other sisters, the other brothers. This is the way I was raised. And I tried to mind my own business. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I was in the corporate, honey. Listen, I was trying to be a big timer, blah, blah. I'm going to be a CEO. Blah, blah, blah. Child, that ain't me. That ain't me at all. So the reason I push and I say so hard, like you were talking earlier, you take an acre of property.
Yep.
You can put about 30, maybe even 50, 2-bedroom, 2-bath homes.
Yep.
Run them on I never can say this right. Solar panels. I don't know, for some reason it always escapes me and I want to say satellite. But anyway, 1 acre, 43,000 square feet. That's a lot of space.
Yep.
And those pieces, those acres are all over the country.
Yeah.
You don't have to live there. You could just buy it and it is instant equity.
Do you know about the family in Georgia that I think it was a couple years ago? They bought 136 acres. It was a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of families that got together. Now they're starting to build houses on it. It's not
That's
that
it.
hard, you know what I
No,
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
no.
it's all about us like collectively getting together and wanting to be like, hey, like doing this. But you know what I mean? Like I've been in debates. I've sat and talked with people, and there was a young brother one time. He say, none of us ain't gonna agree on nothing. What y'all even talking for? He said, you know what I mean? And
No. He like I said, but he's not gonna agree on anything. He's in the wrong space to talk about it. Then you know what I'm saying? Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
no,
There's
no,
so
no,
many different spaces here.
no, you're right. You're right. But
Right.
I took that to the point where I say that he said something that we constantly go through. I want us to really like think about that. We don't agree collectively on things, and this is why nothing never gets done together. We don't have you can't point out no black corporation. I can't tell you one where I could go send somebody to go get a job. Or I can't tell you somebody who I can know go do this and that. Most of the stuff we get, we sell it off. There's nothing that we have equity of saying that this is for us and this and that, or we can go help our lady. We don't even build. Listen here, if we the most homeless, why we don't have our own homeless shelters?
We don't. And a lot of them are closed now, especially due to what happened 2 years ago. We're still feeling the effects of it. It was bad before. It
Mhm.
just got worse. And you're absolutely correct. We don't have a social setup for us. There should be a 1-800 I'm black number where people can call and get some help or be connected. Like for instance, I don't know who've ever heard of 211 if that's in y'all's area. So that's a social number. Hey Lotus, that's a social number that you can call and supposedly get information about housing, food, if you've been in a domestic issue, the whole nine. I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's a joke.
Mm.
It's
That's
a
crazy.
joke. It's a joke. The churches don't help like they used to.
No.
You can't call no pastor and ask him for no help. It is not. It's almost like we live to work because if we don't work, we're gonna beat them people outside.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of us are two, maybe three checks away. Those who bought homes, we getting ready to go into another market crash.
Mm-hmm.
These things are happening regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So why we sitting on our thumbs pretending like it's just gonna get better all of a sudden? One day, white folks gonna be like, you know what? Let's teach these kids correctly. No,
But
it should be a straight line from black schools to black colleges.
that's it. Or trade schools or
Come
some
on,
you know what I mean? We
yes,
can even go on that. But
yes.
sometimes I think our expectations are a little bit too not even up realistic. And I'm only saying
Hmm.
that to a lot of people who I've came across and say some people won't live in a double wide trailer
Right, and that's okay for you.
or a tiny house to you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we know you get a patch of land with a tiny house, that's less than 70,000. Less than 70
Wait,
down on the
you
mortgage.
can build a house now. I can build you a house under $10,000, and it's efficient, fireproof,
Mhm.
floodproof, right? And it ain't hard to do.
No, you're right. I also wanted to touch on something that I don't think a lot of people don't touch on that I just thought about it. I wanted to point out about Michael Orr. You
Hmm.
know, most homeless shelters in America, you have family homeless shelters and you got homeless shelters for adults. If
Hmm.
he was too young, he wouldn't have been able to go to an adult one.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you know what I mean? And if he didn't want to go into foster care, he would have got on the streets.
Right.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
hey, Hakim, before you go, I want to read his background, his early life. So he's one of 12 kids from his mother. His mother had 12 kids. His mother suffered from alcoholism and drug addiction.
Hmm.
His father, Michael James Williams, was frequently in and out of prison. He received little attention or discipline during his childhood. He repeated first and second grade and attended 11 schools during his first 9 years as a student.
Oh
He was
wow.
placed he was placed in foster care at the age of 7, and alternatives between living in foster homes and periods of being homeless as well during his time as a childhood to a teenager before he saw the young white family.
Wow. Yeah, I watched the movie. It was really, really good. I apologize. I just had to, my nose. I didn't want to do that on camera. But I the sad part about it is that when you break it apart, these things could have been remedied if he'd had a community to go to. Right? He should have been able to have someone. We don't have social workers in schools no more. We don't have counselors in schools no more. Like it has become this, let me just test out all the black kids and then we're going to promote just a few black kids, right? Just to show y'all, oh, look, we're teaching them right. Look, 2 graduated. Y'all should be happy with that. We don't know second languages. How many black people you don't know how to speak Spanish?
No, not many.
Mandarin.
Not none.
And we send our children out to compete with people who have those advantages and tell them, pull yourself up. Because I can't, when black folks say that to other black people, I'm blown away. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. This is just life. Take it as it is. Why can't you and why can't we? And this comes from, it's on my intro and her name is escaping me. However, I'll say this. You have to change it on all levels, economically, socially, and politically. We know this. We know it. We see it. We can't continue to ignore it. And you got people out here who are doing the work. However, it's not enough of us. And that's why it has to continue to be talked about, because how else are we going to find each other? But thankfully, with technology, we're able to find each other, and we still don't want to do we still want to argue. And I'm like, wow. And I'm always blown away. I've heard people say, I ain't building for no black men. I ain't building for no black women. Sir, where you live, you might have a mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might have that house. But is the land yours?
Talk about it.
You might have got out of the hood, went and moved into another neighborhood. Is that yours?
Talk about it.
What black contractors we know?
Not one.
Who out here building black neighborhoods? I hope the black folks that are listening understand where I'm coming from. It has nothing to do with being racist or biased or anything. I didn't know I was black until somebody told me, right? We all come here. This was all here when we got here. So if they know that this is how hard it is, and then they telling us it's okay, keep pushing. No, it's not. We're coming to a place that unrest is going to crack. Then what happens? Now we are looking at our people sideways. The Alabama brawl, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't condone violence. Don't get me wrong. Not like automatic. But black folks is getting tired. That's why they jumped in and they got together to get them white men off that man. Yes, because the man with the chair, that was a lot. However, black folks is tired. The hard working poor black people are tired. We don't have anything of our own. That we don't have a Blackwater Park. Where's that? I'll go to Black World, ride the Martin Luther King ride. Like, mm-hmm. I mean, it's corny and crazy, but it would be hilariously fun, right? And we have to step back and see there is something that can be changed. It can be changed quickly, and it can be changed effectively.
Then that means we got to practice group economics, mm-hmm. and love for one's culture. We do not believe in that. And this is why when I mentioned the Hispanics, Asians, you know, the Asians have some of the lowest voter turnout.
Right. They yeah. But they
but
did this time. They came out
they did,
for yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
for
I'm
that.
sorry.
But no, you're right. But they bring so much money and equity in their own neighborhoods. I don't know no homeless Asian. I've never seen one. I've never seen one. You know what I mean? I do see homeless blacks and Hispanics, and I do see Hispanics help their own. And I don't want to put that and say that we don't help our own, but it's not
Right.
as frequent to
It's not
create
enough.
a solution or a base to put that in. And this is why, and we can't do it on our own. And then here's the funny thing about it is when we do it and then we're gone, who's going to take the mantle? I think about Stokely Carmichael, W.E.B. Du Bois, and even Marcus Garvey. They left us a blueprint for a lot of things that we don't even practice.
No.
We don't even care about. Go ahead.
No. Well, because we've been engineered not to care. Let me make it hard for you. I'm gonna put it to a relationship. You ever had somebody kind of they be talking to you, right? And you know, you're like, that don't sound right. Right? You listening, they telling you this big story, there's somebody that you care about. And all the while, they robbing you blind, they cheating, they lying, they doing all kinds of stuff behind your back. And still looking at you like, what's wrong? Why are you mad? Don't be mad. And that's white folks to us.
Yeah.
That's it. Because they did. Kanye West, best line ever. They made us hate ourselves, but love they wealth. And it is proven time and time again. And then some people have the attitude that they don't want to take care of somebody else's problems. And even though people don't like Obama, I've heard that. However, with an all Republican Senate and an all Republican House, he did a lot. Because this man got on TV, Mitch McConnell, one of the biggest powerhouses in the Senate, said verbatim, I'm not going to let him pass nothing. He said it on the news, child. And so it's like, these are the same people that are doing the same thing. So now it don't make no sense to not do it. Because I find it insulting to talk about children, but yet and still you don't want to do anything to fix it.
I ain't taking care of no other man's kid. These single mothers out here, they need to stop having sex out here. Stop
I know who you talk about too.
These single mothers out here, the black woman is trash. I can't help it. They need to hold themselves accountable, boy.
And the thing is, in our black community, we have no problem taking somebody else's kid, especially as black men. We never had a problem.
We the main ones.
We the main ones.
Yes. Do you know how many single fathers I grew up around? Mr. Johnson down the street done took in 2-3 kids, and Miss Lolo down here, she done took in the kids. No foster care, no nothing. Just took in the kids.
Listen, let's get something straight. Let's take Shaq for an example. And his story needs to be echoes loud. He didn't even know his stepfather wasn't his real father until somebody mentioned it. It's a lot of dudes in the hood like that. You know what I mean? It's dudes who get up off the street, meet a lady. She was already had a baby and was pregnant.
Right.
He just, it ain't nothing.
All right. Right. You know, I'm a man. This is what I do.
This is what I do.
Provide.
I want to read this what Sherry Bryan said. She said,
please.
I see it so much in Miami. They will build housing for us, and within a year or two, it's ran down to the ground. The ones who should have gotten in didn't. So who is determined to get it in and out? Who doesn't? This is why a lot of people mind their business. Talk about it.
All right, let's go.
I want to touch on that, but I want to get back to the whole family aspect and men taking care of kids, where there was a lot of dudes who should have been in prison, but some stranger came into their life, got with their mom and say, oh, I'm here with your mama now. Did not even tell them that I'm not your daddy. accepting him. There's some guys even went as far as changing last names.
Yeah.
And it was until somebody get mad. You know that ain't your real daddy.
Yeah.
But we go through this, and this is why.
That's a haterade.
What if there was one of those guys there for Michael Oher? You think there would have been a blind side? If there was a coach who had his wife, and you know what I mean, and because we don't get those, there's stories out there, but they don't never get publicized. A lot of black women allowing kids off the street and they home with their husband.
My mama was one.
You see what I'm saying?
She took in so many of my friends.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you take, and to your point, when you talk about the publicity of black people that have made it and scrounged and scraped and got into these particular levels of life, we don't even have a television channel. We don't even have a news channel of our own, black people.
Black media.
Black folks, what's happening here?
Yeah, black media.
The man who, there was one black channel, I don't know if you guys watched that on YouTube. It was one channel that had black news on it, right? And I can't remember the guy. He was the host. He talked really, really fast. But the sad part about it, the person who was backing it is the same guy who bought the Carolina Panthers. And he just one day pulled the money and it was over. Ta-da.
But if we practice group economics, we supported him, we funded him. Nobody can cancel you when you get money from your people.
Thank you, sir.
Canceling won't be in the thing. Listen. You should have 100,000 subscribers. I should have. We should all have 100,000 subscribers.
Right. It should be a line. Let's go.
Let's go. We take care of, so we can go back and build stuff for the community. But this is why I say, let me read. Natasha Richard, I had 2 interns every summer for the last 5 years. I can't wait to have my nephews intern with me. We are already setting their career paths. Now he's putting in the work.
See?
That's Gore. I want to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nice to see you, Gore. Yes.
That's my beloved.
We should be right. So it's like what you were telling me earlier.
Yeah.
There should be a hub, which I am trying to become. I'm trying to create Chocolate Earth as a hub so that it connects with you, it connects with Gore, it connects with Jordan, Sherry, the whole nine, whatever you want to offer. Oh, you want to learn how to paint? Hold on. Let me see. We got somebody. Let me get you in touch with somebody. You need somewhere to stay? Let me get you in touch with somebody. You want to learn a trade? Let me get you in touch with somebody.
Yep. Now, I do want to give a shout out to somebody else. There's a person, I'm not going to mention a person's name, but this person works for a PWI, and they did help create a program where they're there to help kids of color come through there to transition into PWI. I want to point that out. So I don't want to always say that there's not people out there. It's you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. What it is, what I see is that the network of it, it's like a whole bunch of broken roads, right? Nobody's connected. We should be connected all over the country so that we're promoting one another. So we're working with one another. So if you need some help, you ain't got to just rely on donations. Okay, we got this. What do you need? What can we send you? Because guess what? We can manufacture the things that we need. We don't even make our own crayons.
I love it.
We sending the kids to school with the white people crayons.
Yeah.
Then we're going to make our own. I want some kente cloth crayons. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. I like that. But you
but
want
it's
to know
just that I'm using that as an example.
No, I like
Go
that.
ahead,
But you know one thing, there's that hub thing is very important, because let's tackle something too that you mentioned. Then I don't think that we're going through right now, and a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Gotcha.
Little Rock, Arkansas, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, Pine Bluff. These kids is out for the summer. They don't have enough money to get in programs. Some of these kids can't even get jobs. If we controlled and did a lot more things, a lot of these kids will have places to go, jobs to do, rec centers, to make money and to be able. Because let's be real about it. A lot of people who had summer jobs help put food on the table. It's
That's
sad
it.
to say that.
These kids, I was one of those kids.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
I know exactly, and that was a long time ago. But I'm just saying, right? I I worked. When my father left, I became the surrogate. I became the surrogate dad, play friend, cousin, mama, all of those things at a very young age. And yes, it impacts you. And I didn't want to take care of people no more. I was mad. I resented it. I was like, man, my life gone. I can't kick it. I'm taking care of folk. And what I realized was I can take care of people. I just need to do it my way.
No, definitely.
And.
But I also say then, but here's the thing though. I want y'all to look at my face.
Okay.
I want y'all to look at my face. Listen, a lot of us gonna have to start doing some things differently because we can't pay the rent now.
No.
It's gonna have to start being two families, gonna have to start moving in one. You might have to move you and your husband and your homegirls out. Yeah.
You gotta be like the Hispanics, what they doing.
You got no choice.
You got no choice.
That's how we used to be. Let's just stop there. It ain't like them. It ain't like them. We were here first.
Yeah.
And that's how we lived.
Five
That's
families.
how we lived. We took care of each other. You take a piece of property, put you about 4 or 5 houses on it. Now it's just you and your people. That's cool, right? Now y'all become more viable within the community because now you got the time. You ain't got to worry about no rent. You're paying it one time a year. Just pay your taxes, y'all. Y'all know we got a picture.
Shout outs to Stony Music. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to Q, Sherry Bryant Gore. No, definitely. But we got to stick together. And if we do stick together, there won't be no blindside story.
It won't be a lot of the stories that we hear, unfortunately, about these young men and women, or just, and I'll even take it here, because of course we're talking about children, but I'm going to take it back to adults. We all have a responsibility, whether we have kids or not. These kids see us. People's children see us. Once you decide to get online, you're a public figure.
Talk about it.
They hear what you're saying. So even though we want to brush it off, oh, he crazy, don't listen to that. You can't dictate what is imprinting in your brain and how it will affect you. And we have a lot of negativity. We have a lot of divisiveness, and it's unnecessary. Yes, I know it pays the bills, but it's becoming dangerous to just your energy. It's dangerous to you as a human being. You shouldn't even be consuming that much bull on an everyday basis. It's insane to me, right? But in all honesty, and if we get to that topic, we talk about what's in it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I care? Why should I invest? Why should I do those things? Because it'll make it something better for you. You get something out of it too. If you build a community, now this I pull from different places.
Mm-hmm.
You build a community, you start with the healthcare workers.
Mm-hmm.
Provide housing for them, doctors, nurses, the whole nine, right? The government gonna write me a check because I'm providing social services for my people. And like I said, if these corporations, and that includes hospitals and education as well, will leave $300 billion on the table. $300 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you can do with that? How you could change the landscape? As you said earlier, Jordan, the wealth gap is so insane.
Mm-hmm.
You can help people open businesses. There are so many things that you can do to assist, and it doesn't have to put you in jeopardy. And also, too, you make money. That's the only currency that works in this country. So when people say, "Oh, you helping people, but you want money," yeah, the Red Cross is making, the CEO of Red Cross, $1 million over that. And you can go look that up. You can go look up any charity, right, and see how much money they get because they have the nonprofit status, so that information is public. The
Talk about
NAACP, I don't know how much. I don't know how anybody, I understand what they were. I don't know what they are now. It's quite different. But he also the CEO is in the seven-figure bracket. Why? Because once you buy everything you need, really, but you're not paying the people that's doing the work that money.
mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Why not take this blueprint, flip it, and actually do for folk? Instead of saying we're gonna do it, let's actually do it. Then that way it starts to what do you want to say? It starts to I hate using, I'm not gonna use that. It starts to become infectious. Because like I said earlier, if you can help provide food, housing, healthcare, education to the poorest of the poor or the working poor, that person could turn around and change the world. That child can turn around and be the next whatever we need. Or they just raise their family and do their thing and be safe and viable in our community. And that's what it should be. And stand up for it. Yeah, I've heard it all. People say they're going to burn it up. They're going to blow it up. You were talking about the Chinese earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, little history. When the Chinese came here, there's been a long, long relationship between China and America. When the railroads started coming in, China sent a lot of its people here to work in exchange for things that the government gave them. But they wasn't telling that they were mistreating these people. This is why you have the population size that you do, right? Because what they were doing was this. They started buying up stuff. And what they would do is they would underbid the what they would say the European at that time. So no matter what it was, they'd make it cheaper, but the quality was good. And white folks, especially the rich ones, hey, I want almost free. So that's how they started building their wealth in this country. And they've passed it on generation after generation after generation. And now look at that. And you saying we can't do that? Few can take care of many. I stand by that. But it's scary out here. It's really not like how if we don't stand up and say something, or we don't stand up and do something, it's just gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better. And the people who got money don't care. This place could crack in the middle. Guess what they're gonna do? Still be rich.
Yep. Pick up and go.
We're not in a position to pick up and go nowhere. And so that's the thing. Like I am at a place where it's like I'll fight. Here we go. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. And I know some people have said, you want a Black utopia. Why can't I? Why can't we have it? There are all kinds of neighborhoods where that kind of stuff don't go on, and everybody know their neighbor. That still exists.
Yep.
And we have 12, Lord have mercy, 12 Black thriving cities in the country. Nobody blew them up. It's majority Black. Now it's in like Virginia, DC, because of the government money.
Yeah.
But it's still their own neighborhood. And guess who moving there? Asian people. Mm-hmm. They like us.
They can make the money, but they got the money to spend. And that's the thing.
It.
Yeah.
That's it. If we provide the products, if we start making manufacturing, technology, agriculture, we don't have to just sell to our own. It's a global business.
No, definitely.
And that money ties back in. Boom. And it's legal. And it's just like, it's amazing to me that 60 years have gone by and we haven't done anything. We are still waiting for what? I have no idea. So I land on that. I'm sorry. I was just rambling. Let me
No,
quit.
hey,
But
hey,
yeah,
chocolate
yeah.
alert. Hey,
No,
hey,
you
yeah,
do it.
you doing good. Hey, chocolate alert. And we over the hour mark, but chocolate alert, we want to thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for blessing you with our presence. You did a
Oh, of
Lord Jesus,
course.
thank you. Praise
wonderful
the
job.
Lord.
Wonderful job.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you
you.
for having me. Thank you for having me. You're always welcome to my channel.
Oh no,
Please, please, please.
we're gonna be over there ganging up.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
We
please. You're
should.
welcome. You're welcome. We don't have that shenanigans over there.
Mhm.
And I really, truly appreciate y'all. And I
Mm.
hope we can do this again.
No, we definitely is.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Before we go, we're gonna send a shout out to who's in the chat. Shout out to Gore. Shout out to Sony Stone Music.
Mhm.
Shout out to Sherry Bryant. Shout out to Sky Bryant if you're watching. Shout out to Natasha. Shout out to who else we're missing. Shout out to Ash A, Q
Ashay,
Dog,
Sugar Bum,
Sugar Bomb.
my
Sugar
thumbnail.
Yeah, Ken Dog. Who else? Who else? Just hear me out. Just Jay, Nightish,
Gore, my
Gore.
brother.
What's somebody else is on the chat? Anybody on Instagram, Hakeem?
Oh yeah. Shout outs to DNA 143, phenomenally yours. Yeah, and phenomenally yours.
Shout out to Lotus and I think we got somebody else on there. I can't remember. But hey guys, we want to thank you guys so much for watching us. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank
Remember, make sure you
you.
guys hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you hit the notification bell because we always go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And also on the community chat, in the community chat, we have the Chaos Cultural T-shirt,
Mm.
and we have Hakeem's book. People are buying it. You should buy it too. We really, really
Oh,
appreciate you guys.
awesome.
And unfortunately, like I said, Ronnie, he's not in today, but he will be back with us on Wednesday and continue on our topics that we have. But that's some Chaos Culture Radio.
We out.